Good morning and welcome to Children's Worship. Today we're focusing on being the church by belonging to the earth. So for our opening song, we're going to sing Earth, My Body, and Ava's going to help us. Here we go. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Awesome. For our chalice lighting, we have Annabelle, and she's in her home. Here she is.
Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and mysteries of this great gift.
Would you join with me in either standing or just being very solid in your body? So just breathing in and breathing out. Just feel your body in the space and the solidness of your body. Breathing in and breathing out. You know, in the Buddhist tradition, they often will focus on mountain as having this quality of solidness, but I thought we would focus on the beauty and the solidness of Letchworth. We are that. Our bodies are made of the same things as that. It's always helpful for me when I'm feeling loss or I'm feeling a sense of emptiness or change to remind myself that there are parts of nature around me that have gone through great change and are still able to be beautiful. Senecas used to call that area because of the three beautiful waterfalls that are there. And that land was formed out of a glacier that came through, and still the Genesee River now flows from there all the way to Rochester, flowing north. So it is part of who we are, and we are connected to it. And some of the rock that they've found there is like 380 million years old, even though that passage of the glacier was only like 10,000 years ago. So it's this beauty of age and time and lasting rock. Breathing in and breathing out. That we are solid even through the passage of time. Breathing in, breathing out. Very good. Do you know what this person did? Mahatma Gandhi was a lawyer who was from India, and he loved his country, and he was experiencing and witnessing other people being discriminated against. He was a brown man, and the British people, the white people from Britain, had taken over his country. So there was a lot of discrimination, both because of his color, but also in their society, people were kind of separated by their class. And he did not agree with that because he believed in loving kindness for all people. And so what he did was resist by loving the place he was and being able to organize people to be self-reliant, meaning to take power where they could take power. And especially now, when people are trying to deal with the effects of a very old colonization of our country, that means colonizing means people from another place coming in and taking over a people and a land when we look back on our own history in America, I see him and what he did for his country through peace as an inspiration. Our story today comes from the Talmud, which is a collection of Jewish teachings and stories and stuff, which is just so fabulous. And to tell the story, we have Annabelle and her family, the Davidsons. We have Alex and her mom, Kristen. And here they are.
Once two farmers were fighting over a piece of land. Each one claimed the land belonged to him, and each one presented evidence to the other to prove his point. The first man said, "This land is mine.
This land is mine.
My grandfather planted figs here when he was a boy."
Look, my grandfather planted figs here when he was a boy.
The second man said, "This land belongs to me.
This land belongs to me.
My grandfather and grandmother built their first home here."
My grandfather and grandmother built their first home here.
They argued and argued, but could come to no agreement. Finally, they decided to take their case before the town rabbi. The rabbi listened to each of them for a long time, but he could not decide who was right. At last, he came upon a way to discover the truth.
Now, in this part of the story, something amazing happens. The rabbi actually puts his ear to the ground. So let's pause the story and pretend we're the rabbi. Are you ready? Putting your ear to the ground to listen to what the earth might say. Here we go. Let's see what happens in the story.
The rabbi took the two farmers to the field that they were arguing over. And as they stood there, slowly he bent down and put his ear to the ground. Why did the rabbi do this? How could he help the two farmers come to a peaceful resolution but argument by putting his ear to the ground? The two farmers looked at each other in confusion. What did the rabbi think he was doing? He stayed there for some moments in silence. Then he stood up and looked again at the two farmers. "My friends," he said, "I have been listening to the land, and the land has spoken. The land says it belongs to neither of you, but rather you belong to the land."
I wonder what you think that story has to teach or remind us about. I wonder where you are in the story. Are you one of the farmers arguing about ownership of something? Are you the rabbi who's trying to resolve something about a relationship that he knows a lot of wisdom about? Are you the earth itself whose voice is finally listened to? It definitely celebrates our seventh principle of respect for the interdependent web of life of which we are a part, right? We are a part of the web of life. We are not just outside of it. But for me, this story is so important because it reminds us that ownership of things and domination of things is not actually the way that life is naturally put together. Naturally, we exist in a web. We don't exist in domination systems for our life, right? So we can think that we dominate the earth because we're humans and we have power to do all kinds of things. We have the power to pollute. We have the power to dump our trash into the landfill. We have the power to drive our cars and to have all kinds of systems in place. We have the power to do farming and all kinds of things to the environment to change it so that we can continue to survive, right? But in the end, the earth will always be our mother or the source of our being. We can never get around that. We are always connected in interdependence with the earth itself. And so it would be more appropriate to say not that we own the earth, but that we are earthlings, right? We belong to it. I'm breathing today because of these trees. I'm breathing today because the sun is here and growing these things that help me to breathe. I'm eating today because the earth has produced that food for me to eat and to keep my body, because it is my body. It is what's making the cells in my body. Yeah. So even though I might technically own land, actually the more appropriate thing would be to say that I belong to this land, just as our indigenous people knew very long ago that that was true. And it is the way that, in some ways, that we can heal moving forward, is to be reminded and to start practicing a better relationship of belonging to the earth versus dominating it. It is important for us to know and have reverence for the land that we both live on and where we move and have our community. So my family connection invitation this week is to either visit or do something reverent for or with, or learn something new about where you live. And that could be at your place where you find home or in the community surrounding it. Here are a few things from where I am. This marker is right on the lake, and it directly notes the colonization process. So the French came across Lake Ontario here, and as the sign says, a lot of people went south to Ganondigan to battle the Seneca there, and some stayed here to build like a fortress. They also ended up, which I learned, to the east of here, across the bay, ended up eventually all that property went to the British. Here I am at Shipbuilders Creek up on the Hojack Trail. People fish here all the time. The problem is that Lake Ontario is polluted in the way that it is injuring our fish life. So yet again, evidence that we are called to live differently with the earth. The other thing I've read, and I have seen one picture of, there was a Universalist church made of cobblestone in the village of Webster in 1844. So for our closing song today, we're going to teach you a kind of mantra to keep yourself happy and well, and to really give your body some love. And Ava's going to help us. Here we go. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. So if you'd like to move and dance around, pat your body or whatever you want, it's all yours. Here we go. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. That's all for today. Big love from church. Bye.